also on our own parts, we okay, we intend to continue to bring you good content. So this morning I have my very beautiful, you know, guests in the studio, um, and oh my God, technology is very amazing this morning. But anyways, we'll get there. I have my very amazing sister in the house, my amazing guest, very beautiful teacher Dora. And would just want you to introduce yourself because we have a lot to talk about so that we can just jump right in.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me. And it's nice to just see your beautiful space. Great job. My name is Theodora Ayeni, even though a lot of people call me Teacher Dora. I'm an educator, so I teach kids and I teach the parents how to be better parents. I'm also an author of 4 books, so I'm feeling like a legend.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to be here to just share this conversation with you this morning.
Okay. And as you already know, my name is Nike Adekunle and I'm a couple therapist and a relationship coach. And this morning, as expected, I'll be talking about relationships. And let me just quickly give you a backdrop of what we've been doing. Initially, I thought that I was going to start this live series to just educate people on the choices that you're making and everything. But in between, I have a client, and with their permission, I wanted to do this so that we can get feelers as to what every other person thinks about their situation. It's a story of a couple that got married about 6 years ago, thereabouts, and immediately after their marriage, just about a few months into their marriage, the husband lost his job and the wife. They both had reasonably good jobs before they got married, but immediately after the marriage, the guy lost his job, and it's been a struggle. The lady had to step in financially, and one of the things that she also had to deal with is the stress of also trying to be the encourager for the guy. She has to be there for him, try to lift him up because at a point he was almost becoming depressed, which I'm sure that it hits a lot of guys if they are unable to provide. But she needed a listening ear, so she needed someone to help her distress, and she started talking to a person in her office, who happens to be a guy. One thing led to the other, and she had an affair. And after the affair, she just felt it was bad. She quickly recognized that this is wrong, and both her and the person quickly came to that realization that no, this is wrong, and let's do stop this. But she felt like she needed to confess to her husband, but she also needed the times to be right because she doesn't want to be going to the office every day, and because they keep seeing. So she prayed that the the guy should either leave that space or she leaves, and she was actively looking for another job, and eventually the guy got another job and left that space. But the thing is, after she confessed, she said that she's not heard the last of it. Each time she does anything, there are insinuations made that, are you sure? When she goes out and doesn't come back early, where did you go? And those kind of, and she just felt like, what, I erred and I should be punished for whatever I have done, and let me leave this space so that you can be comfortable. So she decided that, what, let's just divorce. I'm willing to just leave. It's my sin, and I'm willing to carry my cross. But I think that during the process, advice and everything, they decided to come for counseling. And so I just felt like, if they can see through other people's eyes, you talk about the pain that you are into without necessarily acknowledging the pain of the other person, and which is the standpoint of most couples, where we see our pain and all of that. So I just wanted the lady not to hold on to her pain alone and be able to see the pain of the guy as well. Right. That this is where he is coming from. And so last week we had someone that talked about the male perspective. about infidelity and all of that, and how it
Yeah.
affects a man, what it costs a man really
Yeah.
to get to that space of wanting to forgive you. Because the guy actually feels like, I've done a big deal trying to forgive you. Can't you see that this is, big in
Yeah.
itself?
Yeah.
And, because we had that conversation last week, I just felt like we should create a balance. Um, there is this notion out there that um, it's hard for a guy. In fact, any lady that does that, sometimes you begin to pack your bags. Nobody has to tell you. You know that this
Yeah.
is a grievous
Done.
offense that I've committed.
Yeah.
And the way women handle it, you handle it with more sanctity. That you know that you have heard. But most times, it is made to believe that a woman can bear it. You can be, and that is why we want to create, this balance this morning, and which is talking, from the perspective of a woman as well. Why is it that people feel like it's so easy for a woman, just get over it and all of that? And which is why you are here today. You are here today as someone that has experience, not necessarily experience the bashing yourself or whatever, but I know that you also work with people. I know you're very hands-on with working with people, and whatever aspects that you are free about talking about. Please, we would like you to help us to just further this conversation about how it is for a woman to deal with infidelity. So, if I would ask as a starter, with all this background information,
Yeah.
how does infidelity affect a woman?
Okay, just listening to this whole background, I'm thinking two things. Do you want me to deal with it from the angle of the lady who is in the situation where
No,
she's
no, no. We're just trying to create a balance today.
great,
Yeah.
good. Because there's two sides to it. But the
Yeah.
first thing I want to make clear is, there's this talk about how ladies can commit infidelity without some emotion, and they make the world make such a big deal about it. I just want to start from that point, that that's the same way we process infidelity. So whether it's done to us or whether we do it, the pain that comes with dealing with the consequence of it also has that much emotional depth.
Yeah.
So I think that that's the first thing everybody needs to realize. Whether it's the lady who's committed it, whether it's the guy who's committed it and the lady has to deal with it, we are processing it with the same amount of emotional intensity. Somehow nobody remembers that part. Everybody remembers how you can't cheat if you're a lady without some emotions, and forget that to deal with the pain, whether you're the one who's guilty or the one, there's emotion. And if there's emotion, then it means my entire life. And just because I'm an educator, I'm going to use science to explain this.
Yeah.
So science tells us that the part of our brain that we use to learn, to do intellectual work, to function as adults, as human beings, is the same part of our brain that we use to deal with emotional issues.
Yeah.
So if I'm hurt as a woman because my partner has cheated on me, or because I have cheated on my partner and I confess and it's thrown in my face all the time, whichever way, I already have a lot to deal with. Some people call it emotional suffering. Some people call it emotional fatigue. Some people say you're getting depressed. Whatever nice name we call it. Once I have that emotional pain, I already lose my capacity to function optimally. Is that a good thing for an adult? Definitely not. So I think that the first thing we need to understand as human beings, and especially when we're thinking of ladies, with all the many roles that we have to play as mother, as wife, encourager, to be productive, to be all of that, you have to understand that as a lady, I'm dealing with just separating the compartments in my head, whether I'm victim or whether I'm the one who commit offender.
In fact, right now, I even want you to take us through the world of a lady that has been betrayed. Because it feels, in this particular case, it is about her offending. But also, I wanted us to just talk about, the woman that has been betrayed, the victim in
Can
the
I
story.
just clap right now?
Yes, because I like we keep saying, we are trying to further a conversation that is hardly ever spoken about, and it is about snap out of it. Another woman is waiting in the wings. What are you doing? If you don't hurry up, something is going to
Yeah.
happen. Do you think that, all those, things about, you don't have emotions,
Yeah.
you don't have a right to process whatever it is that has happened to you. You are strong. No, when it is that you are strong, you can deal with
Yes.
it.
And
But
I think that that's such an injustice to the emotions of women. And I'll just go a little bit personal if you don't mind. So I'm
yeah,
someone who's been hurt, who's been betrayed. I'm just going to save the whole world those details. But the truth is, you can't hurt me and tell me or describe to me or give me boundaries to how to express the pain, to
yeah,
how to go through the process. What you should do, and which is something the society hardly does, is give me the space to heal. Now let me decide how I want to heal. It's like when you spank your child and then you tell the child, pin your mouth.
now.
And the child is even still, trying to pin the mouth and trying to hide, and you're like, if I hear, no, I've hit you, I've done mine. You want to cry, just don't do it in my face, whatever. Sometimes we bring all those, but you cannot deny me the process. That we have continually done is why women carry bitterness, why
Yeah.
women carry anger, why women, and this is scientifically proven.
Yeah.
And I've been in that place where there's so much bitterness, there's so much pain. I'll tell you what, I said science says it's the same part of the brain. I think they call it cortex or something.
Yeah.
It's the same part of our brain.
Frontal
Now,
cortex.
now, when I'm feeling emotional pain, that converts to in my body to anger, to depression, to neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain. How in the world am I supposed to deal with my normal life as a woman, as a mother, as a productive staff or business person with all of this? And you're telling me, oh, shush, oh, don't talk about it. I remember when I was feeling like that, people said, oh, every woman, that's how we all deal with it. That's why every woman has arthritis. Can I just say that? And I don't want to be that woman who gets to a certain age and starts to say after everything. The everything most women say is that pain that they weren't talking about.
Yeah.
Because they did well in life, they raised their children, but they always say after what is the thing? It's the pain that nobody allowed them to express.
Yeah.
Because society is judging you, you're scared of the labels. I think that there are three things that happens to a woman when you've been betrayed. There's the blame game. You're blaming yourself. Why did I not see it? That was me. I'm like,
Why was I so dumb?
You understand? Even my father, who is a man, said to me, the Bible said, be submissive, not stupid.
Yeah.
So that's one side. There's the other side where you're saying, oh, did I do something wrong? That's if it's a lady who is feeling really insecure about herself. She will say, oh, did I not do something
I do
right?
something to push
So the
you
blame
out
game
there?
is there. Then there's the shame, there's the labeling. Sometimes you are even the one shaming yourself.
Yeah.
You are even the one labeling yourself. Let's not even go to community and family and church and work, because our worth and our self-perception has been greatly tied to how well we do in our marriage.
Yeah.
I've had friends in civil service who tell me things like, and don't quote me, who say things like, they judge your performance and the substance of your character by how well you're doing in your marriage. I've gone for job interviews to be supervisors of companies, and they tell me, oh, we heard you're divorced, we cannot employ you to run our establishment and I'm wondering, really, how does
What is
my
the correlation?
marriage-
Do you know my story?
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I think that we need to allow people go through pain. What we should do instead is ensure that we're giving them the right guidance and space. So don't drown in the pain.
Yeah.
Don't self-pity. Don't
Yeah.
sulk. Don't decide to not live again. Give them that open space, and not by saying you're strong, be strong. Find another thing. This is the classic one. Find another thing to make yourself happy. What if the only thing that made me happy was that man and that union? Find another thing from where I spent 10 years, 15 years, 6 years, 4 years with one person. And science says we're designed to value our worth by our partner.
Yeah.
Because we're superior animals anyway. So
I like the way you just delve into all of this. Working with people that are trying to heal, I see the raw emotions of ladies going through this. Sometimes they are unable to do it when their spouses are present.
yeah.
Because I don't know, a woman is wired to, the person that is even inflicting the pain, you don't want it to seem like I'm guilt tripping you, or I want you to stay with me by force, or I'm trying to control the outcome of whatever is happening. And so they are strong when their partners are there, but when they are alone,
Yes.
and this is when you now see the raw emotion that she's dealing with. Because at that time, whether we like it or not, we might deny it all we want, that you don't care whether it stays or not. You really care whether it stays or not. You want to understand what what his next line of action will be. Would he want to stay with me? What would I do to push him further away? Somehow you also believe that, what did I do wrong?
That's
You
right.
know, and all of that. You are dealing with it. You may deny it, you may throw tantrums and all of that.
Yeah.
But within you, you sort of believe those things. And the raw emotions that, women go through, I don't think people can ever understand it. And some people, they feel so sick. Sometimes people feel, can you just walk us through some of these emotions? 1 minute you're okay, 1 minute you are not,
You're going to be, the thing is, we put up the face because we don't want anyone feeling like, she's feeling all bad, or it got to her. Because I tell people, and I've seen from experience, it's two things: either it was an innocent mistake, or I didn't care how you felt. So if it's an innocent mistake, you're trying to be kind, to not show that, okay, your innocent mistake is really, really hurting me. And if it was a situation where I don't care how you feel, you also don't want to show. I remember in my case, I'm like, I'm losing my mind. And I tell people, you need your emotional and stability to do anything else, even to function. They tell us, be there for the kids, be there for the man, be there for yourself, just try and show up. You need yourself to show up for yourself. Because what we do is we just float through the motions. We just show up, dress up. I remember a neighbor saying, I can't believe you were being beaten in this house. He said, madam, I had to go and ask whether it was true. So we put up a lot of marks because we don't want people labeling us. That's our way of protecting ourselves. Now, unfortunately, it hurts you more, because the more you suppress that pain, the more you don't come to someone like you to speak about it, the more you don't confront it, it's there. It's becoming anger. It's becoming mood swings. It's becoming,
and it will show in passive aggressive behaviors.
Big aggression. The littlest things make you snap. Or you go to the extreme opposite side where you are just disinterested about anything and anyone. You become a mini selfish, only me in my cocoon, which also doesn't really work well. So it's important that we be true about how we feel. And if we're in that corner where we can't tell anyone, then cry it out, write it out, speak to someone out.
I just want to quickly butt in there. If you look at the trend of people that have faced domestic violence, that have faced abusive behaviors from their spouses, sometimes you are wondering, the MD of so, and for me, it brings me, because I like to talk in uncharted terrain. What will be responsible for a woman who is going through a lot, and she just feels like, can I be safe enough? What makes her feel unsafe to get to the point where she can openly, like you just said now, you said you have to put on a mask and just make everybody feel like, I'm okay. What makes it difficult for a woman? Because what makes it difficult for a woman to get to that point of vulnerability where she can talk openly about her pain, and she's true to her pain, and she can, she doesn't feel judged or anything. What can be responsible for you hiding away your pain from people?
I think it's I'm sorry to say this, but I think it's societal conditioning. I think that between our culture and our need to put up an impression, I'm a teacher, so I like science. Maslow hierarchy of needs. There's one part that talks about the way we want to be perceived and all of that. Because of that, we're humans. That's how we're wired. We want to not look like we're falling short. However, the woman will feel safe to open up if she will feel less judged. Now, I tell people it's almost impossible to not judge. Let's also be realistic, because you have your your opinions in your mind. But what you do when you meet someone who's going through that kind of thing, she's a lady, she's speaking to you, just zip it. Because when people are in pain, a lot of times they are not even interested in who's right or wrong. I just want my pain to come out.
Yeah.
I just want to detox. So let her feel safe enough to pour. You will have your opinion sometimes. Like sometimes you'll be like, really, babe? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's silly. But can you just try? Let your face. I tell it your get real face. Just put the face. No, like this, like this. So she can just vent. The more she will always start with the very mundane things. And you just allow that conversation flow. It may even take weeks, months. It took me months to get to the place where, okay, I can say this is the reality of my life now. But we have to be careful that we have not saturated her ears and her environment with the pressure to keep up, because then she keeps shutting down and shutting down. So that's two-part question. What makes me feel safe is that I need to know that I'm not going to be judged. I need to know that you're not going to label me. You may think it, because we know adults will think it, but I need to feel like when I speak to you, I'm safe. Now, there are not too many places for that, which is the sad part.
Okay, so for me, I also think that one of the reasons we are just doing a lot of things here. Don't worry yourself about it. I think that one of the reasons why this is also a bit difficult is that society, like you have rightly said, and I just wanted you to loud it, like we say in our own, is that society conditions a woman to believe that whatever you have achieved is zero compared to if your marriage is working. And also that self-esteem that she wants to protect, that I'm not stupid, because for the longest time women will blame themselves, that why didn't I see the signs? But you can't really blame yourself for somebody that wants to be dishonest. It's not your fault to be trusting. It is the other person's fault for violating trust.
That's right.
So you can't just hold yourself down and continue to judge yourself. That how stupid have I been? How did I not see the signs? Smart women see these things. They know. That means I must be stupid. And for that, you want to keep your stupidity away from people.
That's right.
And before people even judge you have judged yourself.
That's right.
And so I think that we need to get to that point where we let people know and accept that you haven't done anything wrong. Whether you know or you don't know, whether you smelled the sign or you didn't smell the sign, whether you had the courage to negotiate for better or not, you were in the best space where you could be. You were giving your best at that time, and unfortunately, the person you are with does not deserve your best. So it doesn't have any, because what also happens is that thereafter you get women change 360. The next person would now have to pay for it,
which is so
because
weird.
I have been stupid. But right now,
so I tell ladies this. I said there's two things. Come to peace with your mistake, and I want to call it mistake because whether it was your fault or whoever's fault, it was a mistake, but you made the best decision based on the information, the knowledge, the skills, everything that you had. Put it in one corner. That's okay. That's like finishing class 1 and trying to feel bad that when I was in nursery 2, I didn't know division. No, that's the best I knew at the time. But from this point, how am I going to get better? What can I do differently? Yes, we can't do much about trying to, even if we use a megaphone and stand in the communities to change everybody's mindset. But from the point that you realize I made a bad decision, whether you stay in that relationship or not, decide that I want to grow. I want to grow in knowledge to make me make better decisions when it comes to relationship. Since we're talking about relationship now, I want to grow in skills to make me make better, so that the next time, you know what I mean? So that the next time I'm making a better choice and I'm not becoming reverse. Because I tell people, when you allow the mistakes or the meanness of the world make you lose yourself and the joy and the beauty of life, then you've lost. Instead, see it as an opportunity to cheat on life and start again and have a better.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
how
true.
I see
Yeah.
it. So sign up for do what you need to do. Go to therapy, go for courses, read books. I remember reading some book years ago. It's called Deadly Emotions, and it talks about how keeping emotions. Just do what you need to do to become a better version of yourself. Because even if you stay in that relationship, you want to make sure you're better to deal with. You gave you said mentioned something about the situation consistently being thrown at our face. So we want to be better, so that our new improved version can show forth. If we leave the relationship, we want to be even better, because you don't want to go to the same person, to a different person with the same baggage. Now will be double baggage, no knowledge, and you haven't healed.
Yeah.
So you want to heal and get better knowledge, so that whoever is coming is like, yeah, I got diamond.
Okay, so I also want to ask this question, and this was something that came up last week, which I also think that is a conversation that I would like to have. And my guest last week said something about women not supporting women, and that if you find out who is judging, it is usually the woman that is judging the next woman. Men may not necessarily say a thing, and I just want to know, what's your take on that?
Very truthfully, I think that women are harder on women. I think because a lot of women, not because they want to be mean, they are sitting in the same spot as you, maybe in a different expression of it.
Okay.
But they are in difficult. A lot of women, I don't have statistics and numbers right now, but there's a lot of pain and reserved bitterness, and they find a way to function. So we find a lot of women say things like, "But all of us are dealing with something, but all of us stay there." So we normalize pain and bitterness as part of the process. We dignify your capacity to sit through the rubbish or the pain. And so when you take the step to go, rather than celebrate your courage or guide you, because it's two things that happen. Sometimes you go and then you end up becoming a non-entity. Rather than celebrate your courage or guide you to make sure you don't make the same mistake, they are angry at your audacity to leave them in the ship and go away. I'm sorry.
Okay. For me, I think that I have a slightly different perspective to that. I think that this issue of women not supporting women, I think it was sold to us and we bought it, and it has been running since then. It's just like when when guys go through a particular thing, it is called a different name, and when ladies go through the same thing, it is called a different name. So when a guy complains, when a guy complains in the marriage, he's simply complaining. But if a lady complains, she's nagging. So it has a different name and a different feel. And I think that this issue of women not supporting women, I think, was blown out of proportion to the point that even women don't know how to deal with women anymore. So you are in a space where you should be fair, and you're saying, okay, I was this with this guy. If he comes to you and I'm slack, people will say that I'm taking sides. So I think society has conditioned the woman to get into that space where she feels like, if I over sympathize with you, then I'm not being strong enough to occupy whatever position I'm occupying. Let's imagine the corporate world, that I'm not strong enough to occupy this space, so I have to be strong. I have to, and it takes me twice as much to get the position that you will get. So I need to prove twice as much to keep the position. And the same thing goes in the society. When a lady does something, it is blown out of proportion. Sincerely, I know that a lot of women, they may not be skilled in how to support another woman, but I don't think they are the ones that are necessarily inflicting the pain.
What I think, yes, you're right on it's being blown out of proportion, but I feel there's two sides to it. If you're a strong woman, how do we even judge a strong woman?
Yeah, that
in
is
society, how do we judge?
Equipped.
Yes, how do you judge? By my position or by the capacity of my heart to deal with things, or by my non showing emotion or showing emotion. I feel like we put too much pressure on the supposed strong woman.
Okay,
The
which
strong
brings me wait, now wait, let me just quickly cut you there. Which brings me to this very important aspect of our discussion, because we are talking about marriage now, we are talking about relationships, and whether you're married or not, yeah, we're talking about relationships.
relationship, yeah.
I think that I want to narrow it down to relationships now. Um let's talk about the staying power of women, for instance, and which is what I mean by people are not informed
Yeah.
about the choices you are making and what it means actually. So when it comes to a woman that is in an abusive relationship, you are being your husband or spouse is always out there doing his thing, infidelity and all of that, and also maybe he doesn't treat you with a lot of respect.
Yeah.
There's abuse written everywhere. um how would you describe a woman that stays and probably a woman that leaves? What do you think that the conversation that we should be having around a woman staying or leaving? Because before now, the shame was on the woman that left.
Yes.
Why would you ever leave?
Mm.
You are a very shameless woman. For you to leave your children, the future of your children, you left it and you went away.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right now,
Yeah.
because people are ill-equipped,
Yeah.
and most people are, especially ladies, they are really on the offensive now. When something happens, boom, you can't catch me doing that with you.
Yeah.
If you do this, I'm
gone.
gone. If you do that,
Yeah.
I'm
Become
out of here.
intolerant.
And I think that, how do you staying or leaving? What do you think? How do you think society should be guided around, dealing with women
Staying
or
leaving,
people
yeah.
in this space?
I think that staying or leaving doesn't make me, for some people, staying is a better option. For some other people, because I've met women who, the husband is sleeping with her younger siblings, so she's staying because she says, if I go, my mom is going to ask me why. I don't want to embarrass my sister.
Okay.
So, to her, that's a noble reason to stay.
Yeah.
Her family name, her shame. She say, oh, and my mother will not keep quiet. The whole village will get angry. For the woman who stays, if you have a noble reason to stay and you're safe,
Yeah.
and you can guard your mental peace and your emotional stability, I celebrate that strength to
Yeah.
be in the midst of chaos and function until you find stability.
Yeah.
It's like, well done. For the woman who goes, don't be ashamed as well. If you had a noble reason to go, so maybe you feel like your life is legitimately threatened, not this intolerance that some of us now have, because some people is just, we're getting all on like butterflies, which I'm going, Jerry, what is your problem?
No, I'm the in thing.
No. Then I feel ultimately like we've done with a lot of issues. As a people, we need to add the volume on educating women. So if I stay for a noble reason, great job. If I leave for a noble reason, great job. But let's educate women on how to even decide when it's safe to stay, because sometimes they leave over he didn't carry the gas cylinder to the car. Really? Really? Like, are you serious, madam? And some other times they leave over, oh, did you see how he was frowning? So we can't.
It's not nice to my friends.
Yes. do you understand? I hear they call the friends now the board members, and then you're trying to please the board members and forget about yourself. So everyone knows where it pinches, but if we can make more noise, rather than telling people, if he hits you, go. If he's doing this, go. We're doing too much of that. In teacher world, there's something we say. We say, don't discipline with the negative.
Yeah.
Say the positive. So
Yeah.
teach people what to watch out for. How do you want to be treated? What to expect? Because the truth is, these all the 40-year-olds and 30-year-olds and 20-something-year-olds, we're coming from a place where we've been conditioned to accept. So we don't even know how to judge the situation.
Yeah.
So let's go back. It's okay to rewind whenever you realize that something is wrong, rather than preaching too much or making too much noise on if he's hitting you, if he's doing this, if he's not doing this, abuse, just go, just go. Can we start to teach people what are even the boundaries of abuse?
Yeah.
So that we are fixing the mind. If my mind gets fixed, I can judge situations better. If I don't get all of the help and healing, hopefully my daughter and the people behind me and the younger people will not make as much mistakes. So if we invest more time in educating people on what a healthy relationship should be like,
Yeah.
then it's easier for people to not make butterfly decisions. Because now we are having two extremes. I'm going, or I'm just going to stay here and die. So we need more and more awareness on what is this quality, descriptions, the different, many descriptions of healthy relationships.
Okay, just to add to that, I feel like, just like you rightly said, that a lot of us are conditioned from what our parents went through to just be on the offensive. My mother was treated like this, my sisters were treated like this, and I will never be in that space. And you are already on the offensive. For anyone that is looking for an offense, you will see one.
That's right.
You will see one.
That's
even
right.
when there is nothing threatening, you will still see it.
Yeah.
So I feel like one needs to, like you said, the education needs to be there, that it is an individual thing. Society should not pressure people on what decisions they should make. And you should not shame people. Don't pressure, don't shame.
That's right.
Ask for my own unique details.
That's right.
So that I'll be able to, with whatever it is that has happened to me, with my own history, I'm able to make a better choice.
That's right.
So, because for people that have stayed, really, staying is a lot of work.
Yeah.
If you want to stay, especially after infidelity, it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Women should not be shamed for staying.
Yeah.
There are so many good in staying.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of adults now that recently found out that, after all, my mom was not the problem here.
Yeah.
This man.
Yeah.
So they now decided, they're now beginning to discover that my dad was a huge cheat.
Yeah.
And then I didn't even realize that this was what he was doing.
Yeah.
It was this, it was that, and you know what that woman has been able to do? She has been able to give her children a good, at least she shielded them from her world, from the world of pain that children would ordinarily have gone through.
Yes.
And we all know that our backgrounds play a lot. The interplay with our future is a lot. And if a woman has decided to give up herself to do that, I think that she should be applauded. She should not be shamed for it. That you are staying.
Yes.
And for the woman that also wants to stay, even if there is chaos, and we need to ask, how life-threatening
Is this? Yes.
is this?
Yes.
Do you have the capacity to stay?
That's right.
Can you be in this space and still function?
That's it.
Can you be in this space and still make the right decision? Would you be willing to always get help when you need one?
That's right.
And for whatever reason you're staying, because no doubt she's been able to provide for her children
That's right.
a world that they will not necessarily have if she leaves.
That's right.
But let's flip it around. For an intensely corrupted
Toxic,
environment and toxic environment. If someone decides to stay in that environment, don't forget that it also has an influence on the children.
Yeah.
Because you are building monsters in the process.
Yes.
And so if, because of that same children that you are staying, because you know how to shield them away, you know how to manage those things that is not even, they don't even know that you're having issues.
Yes.
But in a place where the children will always watch a boxing match, and they get to sometimes beat their dad, leave her, do that.
It's
It
also
is
now
too toxic for a child. That environment is not good for a child. And if a lady like that develops the courage to leave, I think that she should be celebrated as well. Nobody should judge anybody.
It's also for the good of the children.
It is for the good of those same children.
That's right.
Because some of us, we know what our parents had to deal with. And we, even some people that realize that adults, that my father was a cheat,
Yeah.
the kind of pain that they have.
Yeah.
Imagine if you knew that pain when you were
Wait,
six,
yeah.
it will affect your grades. You may not even be where you are today.
Yeah.
So I think for both sides of the coin, people should be educated on the boundaries of, that you should be tolerating
Yes.
when it comes to abuse.
Yes.
If it is something that is minor and you want to sacrifice, it's fine. But you can also, using our story as our
guide.
as a guide, you can also become that man that is always hanging judgment on the wife, by hanging judgment on your spouse as well. So you also have to get to that point that that, can I work with this person again,
Yeah.
and I will not be bitter.
Bitter.
Yeah, bitterness takes time to heal. I've worked with people. It takes time. And I'm saying I, then
Because you go,
then
I know, right?
It takes time to
It
heal.
does,
It
yeah.
takes time to heal. It takes a reasonable, in fact, unreasonable amount of time to heal.
Yeah.
But at least if you can function most of the time, you are still okay. Then I think, well, yeah, it's something. But there are people that cannot forgive,
Yeah.
and I think that we should also be having that conversation that this person is unable to forgive,
Yeah.
and she knows or he knows that he's going to be unable to forgive.
Forgive.
And I think that whatever decision that we come to, eventually, it should be about the person's greater good.
Yes.
So, we have talked plenty talk today. But I also want to ask, when it comes to healing for a woman, what would you recommend? What are the first steps? We can't talk about everything, but at least what are the first steps that you think that when it comes to healing for someone that has been betrayed and abused and all of that, what do you think are the first steps that a woman can take?
Okay, so first I like to say, just come back, tell yourself the truth about your reality.
Yeah.
Because if I say come back
Denial.
to reality, some people have so maxed the reality. So just tell yourself the truth about the reality of your life, about the situation.
Stop living in denial.
Be awake to it, be mindful of it. And when you do that successfully, now don't just sit down and say, oh, Auntie Nikki, I've thought about it and this is it. If you need to write it, write it. If you need to voice note it, voice note it. Just don't post it on Instagram, please. Because I see too many of those things.
That will make it even more difficult.
You know what
to
I
heal.
mean? So you can write it, you can voice it, you can send someone that you're comfortable with, and just say they don't need to understand, but you've come to peace with your reality. Until you do that, you can't do the next few things I want to say. The next thing is find help. When you come to the reality of the truth of your reality, you will know if it's, do I need to speak to someone through this process? Do I need to sit in a corner and evaluate myself? I call it the meeting with yourself. Do I need a combination of both? Do I need to travel? Why is this second stage important? Because when we don't do this, then we do what the other flip side, which is develop destructive behaviors or start to feel like we want to kill ourselves. So sit with yourself. Now I know the truth. The truth is I am bitter, I cannot forgive, or I can forgive, but I need some time. Do I need this time in this space? Do I want to step away for a bit? Do I want to be able to talk to someone? Is there someone I can talk to? Do I want to talk to a man or a woman? Do I want to go to another place where the person won't know both of us to talk to them? Be real about what you're comfortable with. Now, there's not if you start the journey today, in the next 2 weeks, what you may need may be different. So you need to consistently evaluate this step 2. What do I need to deal with this? And then step 3, deliberately do it. If you need to set a timer to wake up and run in the fresh air in the morning, to wake up and go for dancing. Yes, it may cost you an extra few bucks. Don't say I will dance in my house. No, if you are feeling angry and you can't forgive, if he's looking at you and you're dancing, you may be getting angry some more. Go and dance in another. I'm not saying go to some places. They are dance fitness clubs. Go and dance. If dancing is your remedy, go and make your hair. But don't do those things as an escape. Do it as part of the process. On top of, let me speak Nigerian English for a moment. On top of talking to some, there's just power behind talking.
Yeah.
There's
There
just power
is.
behind talking. The person, I've met so many amazing people, and they say things. Sometimes I don't even bother speaking to me. I remember one lady saying, "You're not saying anything for all that you have been through. I expected you to." And like, my story was not the same as yours, but I'm listening because I understand the
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
That's the most. And even if they don't understand, don't put unrealistic expectations on the people around you to understand.
Yeah.
I think that's another place where we pressure ourselves.
Yeah.
But they don't understand. But I've been telling them. But when they now tell you endure, you say they don't understand. When they keep quiet, they don't understand. Don't put unrealistic, because
Yeah.
they are not skilled to deal with these things. They may love you genuinely.
Yeah.
They want the best for you, but they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And some of us get stuck at that space and say, I'm trying to start afresh, I'm trying to forgive. You are not understanding. Help yourself. Set realistic expectations. Find the people. And before you start to say, oh, we can't pay counselors and coaches, look, thank God for Facebook, thank God for YouTube. If you can't pay, go and start by listening to the things they say for free. You will find help.
Yeah.
But begin to find help. As you're on that journey, I'm very big on writing, I'm teacher. The hand is the pathway to the brain. And all that memory has gone in your brain. And science says, sorry, I'm using too much science. Science says our brain has folders. So go back and write your journey through the process so that your brain is having new memory. Because we're waiting for the person who has hurt us or the situation that has hurt us to come and kiss it goodbye. It's not good. So your hand is the pathway to the brain. That's how it was made. Go back and write in a journal or paint or draw or dress up, whichever works for you. But use your hands to do something that gives your brain new memories and begin to be fresh again. Don't get frozen in the but I'm on the journey. I see women 20 years. They are still on the journey. I don't understand. Your life is standstill.
It's ebbing away. Okay, I think that's what I'm hearing you say right now is that find yourself again.
Yes.
If there is anything that a lot of people actually own up to, is that I don't even know who I am anymore. And for me, I think it is huge, especially for a woman. A woman needs to be able to find herself again, because most of the time our identity has been tied into the marriage and into that of the man. You get your joy from when he's happy, and you are sad when he's unhappy. You just want to please him and do all of that. And I think that for women, just like my guest rightly said last week, which was very insightful, I think that just as men need to detach their sexuality from their ego,
that's right,
they need to learn how to do that. I think women also have to get to the point of trying to detach their, who they are, their identity from their relationship.
Yes.
Your relationship can come and go, but who are you outside of that relationship?
Yes.
Have another definition for yourself. Have another definition for your life.
Very important.
What am I trying to do? What am I trying to achieve? You are there in that marriage or in that relationship to get help on that journey. So you are working together as a team to actualize self.
Yes.
But if there is no self, which is also another reason why some men may actually go out there. That's a discussion for another day.
Yes.
Because you are not there.
Yes.
You are just an extension of that person.
That's right.
And so they find it difficult to love themselves by themselves, all by themselves. And so, but be present. Who are you outside of your marriage?
Be present for yourself.
For yourself. And it takes a lot, especially if you are in that valley where you are, where it feels like the world around you has crumbled.
That's right.
It's really difficult to find yourself.
I know.
And if there's anything that you can do before you decide to save the man, because instinctively women also want to save the man and save the marriage all at the same time, because they're like, I don't want you to be angry, so I don't want to say that. I also don't want to lose the marriage. Forget about all of those.
Yes.
For initially, that initial journey, ensure that you find yourself again.
Yes.
And which is all what you've been saying. If you want to dance. If you want to shout. If you want to go for therapy, please go. If you want to, whatever it is that you want to do, that it is you. It is not us.
Yes.
It is not us.
Yes.
It is not my husband and I like going to that restaurant. No. What do I want to do now? And so being able to detach, I think, would help a lot of women not to get to that point of committing suicide.
Yes.
Because women begin to have suicidal tendencies
Yes.
when things like this are happening,
Yes.
and they just feel like the world has shut
Has
down.
ended.
No matter
Yeah.
what the achievement of the woman is,
Yes.
they are wondering, wow, you're doing so well with your career, you're doing this, you're doing that, but
It doesn't seem to be enough.
it doesn't seem to be
Yes.
enough. And I think that it is something that we all need to work on, just like men need to work on that thing where I'm a 2 minute man is the greatest insult that can have ever been written.
Yeah.
But I also think women also have to get to that point where they are not just
I'm
Mrs.
completing myself.
They are not just Mrs. something or Mama something.
That's even another
Yes,
topic.
that is another topic for another day. So, Dora, I'm looking at our time, and I'm feeling like we have really done well. I didn't know that we can even go this far in our discussion. We went round. We may not be able to have, been able to explain everything, the how-tos, which is one of the reasons why you should continue to watch this, broadcast.
Yeah.
The how-tos will come, but we've discussed a lot, and I think that it will further conversations. I know that when people see this, they want to discuss something that you ordinarily not want to look that way.
Yeah.
So, in closing, what would you want to say that you have not said?
This is somewhere I'm
minutes.
supposed to look in the camera. Okay, the thing is, face your pain, be truthful about your pain, find help, be truthful about the type of help you need. Don't hide behind all of the excuses to not find help, and go through the journey, because sometimes we find help, but we're not responsible enough to go through the journey, because whether it's therapy, whether it's counseling, whether it's dancing, whether it's finding yourself again, it takes time. We've heard her say that several times. So honor your life enough to go through the journey, to get the change, and allow yourself go through it, because on that journey you will still find that you're struggling. There's not a one of the words that I'm very sensitive about using, there's not a once and forever definition of your identity. Just like there are seasons, that's how your life will evolve. Because sometimes we say, but I found myself, this is me, and then you put yourself in the box. Don't put yourself in the box. Be humble enough to go through the different motions each time, and I hope you enjoy your beautiful new life.
Thank you very much. She's just an amazing lady, very beautiful one. She's come a long way. From where she's coming from, she doesn't smell like what she's been through, and we appreciate your being honest with us. We appreciate your being authentic with us this morning, and let's continue to further this discussion. Next week, we're going to have another side of this conversation. And until we come your way next time, we want to say thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody on social media. There are some comments here. Some guys are really talking about, that it was sold to us that women don't support women. That who sold it? Well, it's one of those things that we know that we are trying to deal with. And from the two of us here in the studio, we want to say bye for now.
Bye.
And
Thank
just
you for having
enjoy
me.
your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend.